Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tang Men based on novel. So let's start. Yes, she was Ma Xiaodao. At this moment, she was no longer the Phoenix Holy Lady. She had lost consciousness and was drifting in the sky like a patch of red clouds, slowly falling to the ground. Jungli Wu revealed a cold smile on his face. He pointed his toes to the ground and wanted to leap up to catch her. However, it was at this moment that a pitch-black hole appeared below Ma Xiaodao without any warning. It was like a slit had opened up in the sky. Ma Xiaodao was instantly devoured, and the slit sealed up. She disappeared just like that. Not even her aura was left. Jungli Wu was completely dazed in the air. She's gone. The Phoenix Holy Lady is gone. What kind of power was that? An ethereal projection flashed. Another person appeared in the air. It was Huo Yuhao. His icy war god's armor had dimmed significantly. Its original deep blue hue had turned shallower. There were even scorch marks left behind on this Class 9 soul tool. His expression wasn't shown, as his visor was lowered. However, his ultimate ice aura remained. I've won. This is my third one. Huo Yuhao said coldly. Zhong Wu lifted his head to look at him. The sinister look in his eyes turned even more intense. Huo Yuhao, where did you take my Phoenix Holy Lady? His script definitely didn't involve her disappearance. Huo Yuhao replied, you don't need to know that. Zhong Wu's eyes turned colder. Great. Great. What left Huo Yuhao surprised was that Zhong Wu flew back to the ground after he finished saying those 3 words. Is this his only reaction? Yes, it was just like this. In Zhong Wu's mind, would he be afraid that he couldn't get the Phoenix Holy Lady if his plan succeeded and he controlled Huo Yuhao? This was why he wasn't anxious. He suppressed his rage. However, he immediately waved at his own side after he landed on the ground. The 4th person representing the Sun Moon Empire, or rather, the Holy Ghost Church, appeared. A black figure leapt out and charged towards Huo Yuhao. This time, the Holy Ghost Church didn't give Huo Yuhao any buffer time. The Phoenix Holy Lady had been defeated and abducted by Huo Yuhao. But that was fine. Zhong Wu had still managed to achieve his goal. He believed that Huo Yuhao would definitely have been greatly drained after that earlier attack, no matter how strong he was. How could he possibly survive the next round? Even so, he didn't personally fight in the 4th round. He never did anything he wasn't confident in. This was why the 4th round was still a prelude to his personal involvement. When that black figure charged towards him, Huo Yuhao immediately recognized him. He was familiar. Yes, he was a very familiar person. He was the Scorpion Tiger Doluo, Jong Pang. When Huo Yuhao first met the Scorpion Tiger Doluo, Jong Pang was pursuing and trying to kill him. Then, Huo Yuhao had Yang Xiaozhe and Xian Lina with him. Xian Lina fought Jong Pang, and they ended in a stalemate. That time, it was also Huo Yuhao's first meeting Long Xiaoyao. He only managed to chase Long Xiaoyao off through a wager. Not long ago, Huo Yuhao had learned from Mu Yan that Long Xiaoyao didn't harbor any ill intentions towards him. Otherwise, he would have been able to kill him at their first meeting. He was no longer as weak as he used to be. He was a powerful title Doluo now. This Scorpion Tiger Doluo was already a transcendent Doluo back then. So many years had passed. His cultivation would have increased. Even though he wasn't as strong as Feng Ling, the difference wouldn't be too great either. Jong Pang let out a low-pitched tiger roar before he appeared in front of Huo Yuhao. Behind him, a projection of a giant scorpion tiger surfaced. He instantly punched a fist towards Huo Yuhao's chest. Huo Yuhao's Eye of Destiny opened. Huo Yuhao unleashed his spiritual shock at the Scorpion Tiger Doluo. Huo Yuhao had always been very good at making use of his strengths. He was doing that right now. Jong Pang groaned, an intense black light was released from his body. It turned into a small mirror that flashed with black light in front of him. When Huo Yuhao's spiritual shock struck the mirror, it was instantly refracted. Oh? It can refract spiritual power. No wonder he didn't purchase a spiritual defensive-type soul tool, and no wonder Jungli Wu sent him to fight. The Holy Ghost Church has strong foundations indeed. However, that small mirror still cracked, even though it had refracted Huo Yuhao's spiritual shock. Jong Pang's body shook a little, and his fist arrived right in front of Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao pushed his right hand forward. He was using his controlling crane capturing dragon, a skill that came from the Tang sect's secret techniques. He was no longer the same Huo Yuhao who had just entered the sect. When he used his controlling crane capturing dragon, it felt very profound and magical. Jong Pang only felt a strong suction force coming towards him, causing his fist to deviate to one side. At the same time, Huo Yuhao pressed his other hand against Jong Pang's chest. Jong Pang roared, and his entire body started to shine brightly. His body suddenly expanded, and his other arm straightened like a blade. After this, he slashed it towards Huo Yuhao's palm. Huo Yuhao's shoulder shook. The pull from his left hand and push from his right hand brought his palms together. Suddenly, strong whirlpool-like soul power was instantaneously unleashed. A terrifyingly strong destructive force was released. Before Jong Pang's attack could even hit Huo Yuhao, he was already knocked far away. From the observer's point of view, there was nothing separating Huo Yuhao and Jong Pang. However, Jungli Wu revealed an evidently satisfied look on his face. From Huo Yuhao's reaction, he could tell that his abilities had weakened slightly compared to before. He didn't even use his ultimate ice immediately. Evidently, he must have had been affected when he was resisting the Fire Phoenix Holy Lady earlier. Just as Jong Pang moved back, he let out a tiger roar, revealing his true body. A huge scorpion tiger appeared out of thin air. The sky turned dark. Following this, beams of black light formed in the air. They turned into countless, flashing black needles, which shot towards Huo Yuhao. What is this? Scorpion tail needle. The scorpion tiger Doluo's lethal weapon was his scorpion tail. This was a very powerful soul skill that Jong Pang possessed. The needles blocked off all of Huo Yuhao's escape routes. This was the type of attack that a transcendent Doluo could unleash when he used his true body. Huo Yuhao squirmed in the air. After this, he turned illusory. When the needles were about to hit him, he turned into broken pieces and disappeared into the air. Concealment. When they saw Huo Yuhao disappearing, the soul engineers from the Sun Moon Empire had the biggest reaction. Huo Yuhao's concealment abilities had caused great problems for the Sun Moon Empire. Without such abilities, he couldn't have destroyed so many of the Sun Moon Empire's aerial surveillance soul tools. Without his concealment abilities, how could he have threatened the Sun Moon Empire's army by himself? He finally used his concealment abilities in the fourth fight. This also confirmed everyone's suspicions that he was the one who had destroyed so many of the Sun Moon Empire's aerial surveillance soul tools. It was him. The needles swept past, but didn't hit anything. When Huo Yuhao reappeared, he was already above the scorpion tiger Doluo. A white halo silently flew out from Huo Yuhao before landing on Jong Pang. The scorpion tiger Doluo only felt a little giddy, and he was soon engulfed by intense weakness. This was the upgraded version of mass enfeeblement, singular enfeeblement. Huo Yuhao could use his spiritual power in ways other than his spiritual shock. That small mirror that drifted above Jong Pang could resist offensive spiritual attacks. However, it was helpless against such an auxiliary spiritual ability. Huo Yuhao's spirit eyes enabled him to adopt different ways of fighting. He didn't just have to fight directly. Just as he was weakened, Jong Pang's figure flashed, and he instantly picked up speed in the air. Wings extended from his ribs, enabling him to make a turn in the air. When he faced Huo Yuhao again, his needles shot from the sky once more. This time, they covered an even bigger area. His spiritual cultivation was far beneath Huo Yuhao. He had already unleashed all his spiritual power earlier, but he couldn't discover Huo Yuhao at all. Jong Pang also knew that it was impossible for him to locate his enemy using his spiritual power. Since this was the case, he used his attack to seek Huo Yuhao. The needles seemed to have taken effect. Huo Yuhao didn't choose to hide himself this time, but his body turned illusory. But when the needles flew past his body only rippled. He didn't get hurt at all. It's not real. Jong Pang was astonished. At this moment, he felt as if everyone in this world was spinning. Everything seemed to become unreal. Only those observing could tell that there was an extra whirlpool above his head. This whirlpool was revolving very quickly, as if it was sucking out Jong Pang's soul. It was Huo Yuhao's fourth soul skill, spiritual confusion. Huo Yuhao was only able to perfectly demonstrate the strength of this soul skill by strong spiritual suppression. He had the greatest advantage in terms of his spiritual power. Why would he not use it? He had only used a part of it in the earlier rounds. In this fight, he was counting on his spiritual power. Although his spirit eyes only had 8 soul rings right now, Huo Yuhao still had the confidence to resist the strongest ultimate Doluo in the world with it. Another Huo Yuhao suddenly appeared, and this time, he appeared behind the scorpion tiger Doluo. The Huo Yuhao who had appeared before was still in the sky. 2 identical people appeared at the same time. How could that not be astonishing? Spiritual interference domain. Huo Yuhao's second domain type ability. Not many people paid attention to this domain, because it wasn't as well known as his snowy dance of ultimate ice. But there were many instances where his spiritual interference domain was much more fearsome than his snowy dance of ultimate ice. Not a single one of the 4 soul skills that the Skydream Iceworm's million-year soul ring had bestowed upon him were useless. Formidable soul power undulations erupted in the sky as Huo Yuhao's dark golden terraclaw sliced through the air and went straight for the scorpion tiger's enormous martial soul true body. Brutal force to break brutal force. Jong Pang was affected by Huo Yuhao's formidable spiritual confusion and single target enfeeblement. He couldn't possibly dodge this attack. But just as Huo Yuhao's claw struck Jong Pang, he suddenly trembled vigorously before a dark golden beam of light erupted from his body. Jong Pang's scorpion tiger, true body, was torn to pieces in front of Huo Yuhao's dark golden terraclaw. However, a dark shadow suddenly appeared soundlessly behind Huo Yuhao's back. Frightening sharp blades went straight for Huo Yuhao's heart from behind. Exhilarating cicada. It was one of the scorpion tiger Doluo's automatic defensive soul skills, and this soul skill was known as a godly skill compared to his other soul skills. This soul skill was automatically triggered when Jong Pang was struck with an attack that he couldn't defend himself against. If this automatic release was successful, then his original body would be extracted, and he would use 30% of his soul power to instantly teleport himself to wherever he wanted. Jong Pang had cultivated this soul skill to its highest possible level, and he could reach anywhere within 1,000 meters with it. At the same time, exhilarating cicada allowed him to use another 30% of his soul power to unleash an attack at his peak condition. However, he couldn't use any other soul skills during this time. 60% of the scorpion tiger Doluo's soul power would be expended after this attack, so he would evidently be unable to continue the battle. This attack was excellent in a fight to the death, and it was also excellent in ambushing others. There would always be many strange and peculiar soul skills in the world of soul masters. Jong Pang had thought that he would definitely win this battle when he first locked horns with Huo Yuhao, because Huo Yuhao had already fought 3 times before this. But when they truly clashed, Huo Yuhao's formidable spiritual power and his spirit eye's various soul skills made Jong Pang understand that he was no match for Huo Yuhao even when he had already expended so much energy. Spiritual shock was no longer effective, so Huo Yuhao didn't use it, but Jong Pang still couldn't take Huo Yuhao's other spiritual type soul skills. The gap between their spiritual powers was just too vast. Therefore, Jong Pang had no choice but to go all in. In that moment, when he was struck by spiritual confusion, Jong Pang could have done something to weaken part of the soul skill's effects, but he decided against it. Instead, he chose to take the soul skill's entire effect. The reason for his choice was so that he could retaliate and end the battle with his exhilarating cicada. Jong Pang would defeat his enemy and win this battle if he was successful, but if he wasn't, then he would turn and escape. Jong Pang was a member of the Holy Ghost Church's worship hall, but he never considered placing his life on the line for the Holy Ghost Church. Jong Pang's idea was good, and his tiger claws were already right behind Huo Yuhao's heart. Everything was going according to plan. Unfortunately, he forgot about something. Huo Yuhao still had another extraordinary skill, and that was spiritual detection. Spiritual detection conferred three-dimensional detection to Huo Yuhao, and even if he didn't realize anything when Jong Pang began his attack, his reappearance with all those soul power and spiritual power undulations in the air was long within Huo Yuhao's senses. Therefore, Jong Pang's tiger claws still sliced through the air anticlimactically in the end. Missing an attack at full strength was even more agonizing than taking a heavy hit from an enemy. Jong Pang almost vomited blood. And Huo Yuhao? He reappeared behind Jong Pang's back. His dark golden terraclaw didn't grow bigger this time, but a 5-sharp dark golden about 30 centimeters long plunged into the scorpion tiger Doluo's back and protruded from his chest. Jong Pang's body froze in midair. The corner of his mouth curved, as he was very unconvinced and unwilling about what had just happened. His eyes were filled with hysteria, and his soul power immediately erupted from his dantian. Jong Pang's heart had been impaled, and he couldn't possibly continue living. He had dominated the world throughout his lifetime, and he wasn't willing to just die like this. Jong Pang's stable soul core within his dantian was suddenly triggered by his riling soul power. Self-destruction. This was Jong Pang's final choice. He had to take Huo Yuhao with him even if he had to die and disappear from the world. A transcendent Doluo's self-destruction was comparable to that of a Class 9 stationary soul cannon shell. Jong Pang chose such a brutal path, and he lived up to his name as the Scorpion Tiger Doluo. Jong Pang's muscles immediately contracted, and even his skeleton was withdrawn toward his chest. Huo Yuhao's dark golden terraclaw was instantly stuck. Jong Pang was using his full strength right before his death to tie Huo Yuhao down. Jong Pang's eyes weren't dimming at all in this moment. There was only hysteria in his eyes, an otherworldly insanity, the kind that didn't belong to this world. Since he had chosen to self-destruct, then he had to pull Huo Yuhao down with him. He wouldn't give him a chance to survive at all. A transcendent Doluo's eruption right before his death was absolutely terrifying. Not even an ultimate Doluo could easily shake Jong Pang's grip within a short period of time. Jong Pang even raised his hands and used his own tiger claws to clamp down on the dark golden terraclaws protruding from his chest. He used all the strength he had left to channel his soul core and stop Huo Yuhao from leaving. However, he couldn't see Huo Yuhao, who was still behind him. Huo Yuhao didn't panic at all because of Jong Pang's retaliation right before his death. His expression didn't even change. There was only pity in his eyes. This pity was towards a dying man, towards one who had been defeated, and towards a formidable individual. Huo Yuhao planted his left palm soundlessly on Jong Pang's back, while his torso, which was almost pressed against Jong Pang's back, erupted with intense bluish-green colors. Huo Yuhao's formidable Ice Empress wrath immediately swallowed Jong Pang's body, and bathed his entire body in bluish-green light. A cold sensation that chilled even his heart followed his veins as it coursed through his body. Jong Pang didn't have any strength to resist this because they were so close together, and he was using his full strength to trap Huo Yuhao and trigger his own soul core. A transcendent Doluo's retaliation right before his death was powerful. However, how could a titled Doluo who had spiritual power that rivaled that of an ultimate Doluo, who possessed two formidable soul cores, and had an ultimate ice martial soul, be any weaker when he had the absolute upper hand? Jong Pang's body immediately froze, and he realized to his intense fear that his rapidly exploding soul core's rotation was starting to slow after he was struck. Jong Pang's blood was also starting to freeze, and every ounce of strength that he had left was quickly disappearing as his heart froze over. No. Jong Pang wanted to shout at the top of his lungs, but his voice stuck in his throat. He could only wheeze, and he could no longer speak with that originally bright and clear voice of his. Huo Yuhao's dark golden terraclaw vanished, and Jong Pang's blood, muscles, and skeleton had been frozen. He could no longer trap Huo Yuhao's claws. Jong Pang's tiger claws crumbled and broke as the two figures separated in midair. Shadows flickered as Huo Yuhao reappeared 1,000 meters away. Boom! Bluish-green flames erupted in the air like firecrackers exploding through the sky. But a formidable soul master, who had dominated the entire continent, who was a transcendent Doluo, was obliterated just like that. Huo Yuhao descended from the sky, and his aura seemed to be raised to its highest possible level in this moment. This battle wasn't that magnificent or spectacular, but everyone who was watching fell silent at the outcome. This was the fourth one. This was already the fourth one, and two had perished in battle. Huo Yuhao used his formidable strength to tell everyone that what he had claimed about 10 battles wasn't an impossible task. Jungli Wu's expression was as black as could be. However, there was no turning back for him. He was already sustaining such heavy losses, and if he still couldn't gain anything from it, the Holy Ghost Church would be taking an overwhelming blow in both their strength and their mental states. He was supervisor to the Sun Moon Empire's entire army, and if his reputation suffered like that, how would those soul engineers who never had a good impression of him think about him? Zhongli Wu's dark and gloomy expression gradually turned cold. As matters were, he could only capture Huo Yuhao and win this battle so that he could make up for everything that had happened. Huo Yuhao gradually drifted down, while Zhongli Wu raised his head and stared at him with burning eyes. There was a tinge of hysteria in Zhongli Wu's eyes amid all that iciness. The same hysteria in Zhongli Wu was vastly different from Jong Pang. Jong Pang's insanity was retaliating when on the brink of death, but Zhongli Wu's insanity was like a sharp knife plunging into Huo Yuhao's chest. Huo Yuhao's breathing became a little rushed, and it seemed like he had expended a lot of energy from his 4 continuous battles. However, his eyes were still as calm as ever, and he wasn't affected by his breathing. Huo Yuhao stared back at Zhongli Wu sharply. If Zhongli Wu's eyes were like a razor-sharp knife, then Huo Yuhao's eyes were like mountains of ice. No matter how sharp that knife was, it couldn't pierce through the mountain, which seemed like it was made from mysterious ice over 10,000 years, and descending from the sky with a crushing pressure. Nobody knew how much energy Huo Yuhao had expended besides himself, and Zhongli Wu could only make certain judgments, based on the soul skills that Huo Yuhao had used in his previous fights. Huo Yuhao's eyes revealed a trace of ice-cold light, as he stretched his arms out to his sides. Circles of icy blue light rippled from his icy war god's armor one after another, and formless ice elements condensed toward his body at an incredible speed. Star Anise icy coagulation. Zhongli Wu suddenly howled, and it sounded like a dragon's roar as his soul rings rose from beneath his feet. A formidable aura emerged and flourished. Zhongli Wu's soul rings only had 2 colors, black and red. Yang Xiaozhe's expression changed drastically out of fear when he saw those soul rings. Zhongli Wu's soul rings weren't like that when they had last battled, but he had 6 black and 3 red soul rings now. His combination wasn't that much inferior to Huo Yuhao's. The colors of a soul master's soul rings didn't mean everything, but they were a symbol of a soul master's strength. Furthermore, Zhongli Wu was an evil soul master, and he was a transcendent Doluo. The Holy Ghost Church's supreme leader was stronger than anyone had expected. Huo Yuhao's expression grew solemn. He was aware that after his previous 4 battles' consumption, his battle against Zhongli Wu would be the hardest moment today. If the previous evil soul master's cultivation ranks were lower than Huo Yuhao's, then Zhongli Wu's true strength was definitely comparable to Huo Yuhao, and possibly even stronger. Huo Yuhao's only advantage was his 2 soul cores. His chances of victory against Zhongli would also decide his chances of success in this 1 versus 10 contest. This battle would determine the outcome. Zhongli Wu pointed his right hand into the air as a black soul ring flickered on his body, and an enormous staff appeared in his hand. This staff was black all over, and another silhouette appeared behind his back when it appeared. This figure didn't seem very big, about the same size as Zhongli Wu's body. However, everyone who was watching could feel their hearts constrict when this shadow appeared. What was that? Yang Xiaozhe had crossed paths with Zhongli Wu before, and even he wasn't entirely sure what Zhongli Wu's martial soul was. Elder Xian's expression had become incredibly solemn as he watched in the distance. He muttered under his breath, back then, Yi Shishui's martial soul mutated into a blood soul demon puppet. Jungli Wu's martial soul seems superior to Yi Shishui's martial soul, and it must have mutated once more. But for some reason, it feels extraordinarily powerful. Its origins must be similar to Yi Shishui's blood soul demon puppet. Yi Shishui's blood soul demon puppet is a martial soul that improves continuously by nourishing itself with human souls. This is one of the most important reasons why Elder Mu couldn't approve of her anymore, no matter what. Many humans have perished at Yi Shishui's hands, and Zhongli Wu's martial soul should have the same characteristics as hers. I just don't know how powerful he can be. This battle will be very difficult for Yu Hao. Yang Xiaozhe forced a laugh and said, "What this child is doing is too risky. He's challenging the Sun Moon Empire's powerful individuals all by himself." He really? Elder Xian shook his head gently. I can understand what he's thinking. He's laying down the foundations for his future. At the same time, he really is confident to some extent. Perhaps he is estimating his chances at 50%, but 50% is enough to try. As long as he can complete this battle peacefully, then no matter who he faces afterwards, he will definitely be able to escape with his life even if he loses in the end. And if he lives after today's episode, then he will undoubtedly give everyone a big surprise. Yang Xiaozhe glanced at Elder Xian in surprise. Surprise? What surprise? Elder Xian glanced back at Yang Xiaozhe and said, "We are soul masters, and we have to deal with any problem rationally. However, once our cultivation rank reaches a certain standard, we have to be passionate, and we have to be crazy, besides just accumulating and working hard. I have lacked this insanity, and that's the reason why I have dallied for so long. What Yu Hao is doing is relying on external forces to fully unleash his potential. When he obtained his second soul core, his potential far exceeded ours." Yang Xiaozhe started to think. Using battles to unleash one's potential. He did want to do that, but at his cultivation, finding a suitable opponent who could threaten his life was just too difficult. There was some in Shrek Academy, but who in the academy would wish to fight with him to the death? A showdown with outsiders to the death was too dangerous, and it was hard to find such opponents. Huo Yuhao had just recently obtained his second soul core, and he was doing this to train himself, so that he could fuse with his two soul cores even more perfectly and seamlessly. He also wanted to stimulate his immense potential at the same time, so that he could prepare for the future. The future? What was Huo Yuhao's future like? Yang Xiaozhe couldn't tell what Huo Yuhao's future would be like anymore. He was only praying for him, praying that he could emerge victorious against Jungli Wu in this battle. However, he didn't approve of how Huo Yuhao was forcefully pressuring himself. He was up against a powerful evil soul master. How dangerous was that? Huo Yuhao and Jungli Wu's battle had begun in the sky. Jungli Wu didn't attack Huo Yuhao at once. He tapped his staff in the air as a deep howling sound could be heard, and the enormous head of some beast appeared in front of him. Surprisingly, it was a dragon's head. It was entirely black, but it emanated translucent green light, as intense green flames danced within its eyes. Chilly and sinister winds billowed through the air as the dragon head appeared. What was that? Yang Xiaozhe had crossed paths with Zhongli Wu before, but he had been incinerating himself back and so that he could buy time for his companions, while Zhongli Wu didn't give his full strength in that battle. Yang Xiaozhe now watched as Zhongli Wu suddenly released an enormous dragon head. This dragon head seemed to be related to his martial soul, yet it seemed like it wasn't. Yang Xiaozhe was astonished. How powerful is Zhongli Wu, exactly? Not many people in the Holy Ghost Church knew what Zhongli Wu's true power was like, not to mention Yang Xiaozhe. The enormous dragon head wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. Its large black frame gradually snaked out, and the dragon's claw quickly reached out as the dragon slowly revealed its tremendous body. This was a giant black dragon. However, the differences were that this black dragon didn't have scales, muscles, or flesh, but was formed entirely from black bones. Even then, this black dragon's aura was comparable to that of an actual dragon. Huo Yuhao didn't attack Jungli Wu as he was releasing his dragon. Instead, he just hovered quietly in midair and waited. He had his icy war god's armor covering him, so nobody could see his expression, while he was using star anise icy coagulation to swiftly recover his soul power. Why didn't Huo Yuhao take this opportunity to attack? Shrek Academy's various elders were all worried. The black bone dragon took 10 seconds to appear fully in front of everyone. The dragon was 100 meters long, and its wingspan was also about 100 meters wide. This size wasn't considered much compared to a top-tier individual's martial soul true body. Soul masters like Elder Xian's martial soul true body could easily reach 1,000 meters. However, this black bone dragon looked almost material. Furthermore, all sorts of illusions and images flickered in the sky as it appeared. There were mountains of corpses and seas of blood, and they all belonged to soul beasts. There were countless soul beasts' agonizing cries echoing through the heavens, like there were uncountable avenging beast spirits crying out hysterically. How many soul beasts did Jungli Wu have to kill to create something like this? Jungli Wu was standing on the enormous bone dragon's skull. He was very small compared to the bone dragon, but he gave off a stifling feeling that created a terrifying pressure. I discovered this set of dragon bones in some historical remains. The dragon's soul hadn't dissipated back then. Even though the dragon itself isn't considered a top-tier draconic species, and even though its bloodline isn't even pure, this dragon has a tinge of the silver dragon on its body. You've probably heard of the history of the dragons, that the dragon god split into the golden dragon king and the silver dragon king. In addition to the 9 sons of the dragon god, they were considered kings of their species. Their descendants all have a little of their blood in them. But the truth is, there are still some other secrets. Only the dragon god's 9 sons passed on their bloodline. The golden dragon king and the silver dragon king had no offspring. The golden dragon king met its demise for some unknown reason after the split, while the silver dragon king disappeared. That was the reason why the dragons fell from grace. However, the dragon god released large amounts of energy when he split into the 2 dragon kings. Some of that energy contained the golden dragon king's ultimate strength and the silver dragon king's control of the elements. Those dragons who were bathing in the dragon god's favor were partially affected by those energies, and their claims afterward about how they possessed the golden dragon king, or the silver dragon king's bloodline arises from this fact. The silver dragon king blessed this dragon when it was still alive, therefore, the dragon's soul is undying, while it also possesses part of the silver dragon king's powers. This dragon is the strongest beast spirit among those that I possess, and it took me 10 years to capture it, and I couldn't receive any external help during that period of time. 10 years later, the dragon's strength enabled me to break through directly to become a transcendent Doluo. Subsequently, I took over as the Holy Ghost Church's supreme leader. Normally, I would never use this dragon's power, because it has become my origin beast spirit, and even part of my martial soul. Today, you can be proud that you forced me to unleash my bone dragon king. Jungli Wu's voice was deep and cold. The bone dragon king's aura became a little stronger, and the sky a little darker, with every syllable he uttered. Zhongli Wu's soul rings flickered amid the black light from the beginning to the end, and nobody could tell whether he was using his soul skills. This video will end here.